universe, media, network, 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 network.
This is Real Estate Investing Success Columbus, the show that takes you on a conversational journey through the ins and outs and the ups and downs of the Columbus, Ohio area real estate investing industry to help you reach your goals of financial freedom through real estate investing. I'm Antonio Holman, author, investor, and founder of United States Real Estate Investor, a real estate investing focused media company, and my mission is to help you learn and achieve financial freedom through media, networking, and knowledge. Today, we're talking to Seth Teagle, from a firefighter and a paramedic to hard work, grit, and lessons learned to now the owner of a vertically integrated real estate company. Stick around with me to find out why Seth Teagle is a real estate investing success. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance you work within the real estate investing industry. There's another good chance that you would like to increase the sales of your products or services. Well, you're in the right place. United States Real Estate Investor is a platform you need to place your brand directly in front of your target audience. With our focused, growing audience of real estate investing beginners, enthusiasts, and seasoned professionals, you can continually reach our captivated viewers and listeners with ease. To learn more or to get started today, just visit UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com/advertising. That's UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com/advertising. Get ready to increase your brand awareness and your bottom line. Attract clients with content. All right, today we're here with Seth Teagle. Seth, we're just going to jump right into it. Are you ready to talk some real estate investing with me today?
Do it. Yep, absolutely.
All right, awesome. Okay, before we get started, though, see, I always like to take it here. Tell us a little bit about your personal life.
So I'm married, 3 kids, been married for about 13 years now. So I've got kids that are 9 and twins that are 7. They keep me pretty busy. And then, like I said, I've been a professional firefighter for 22 years on top of doing real estate. And it kind of led me to that career basically led me to the real estate journey. So that's between those things and real estate, I'm pretty busy.
7-year-old twins.
Yeah.
Are you exhausted?
90% of the time. I'm not sure I remember what it was like to not be. So it's
wow,
crazy.
man.
Quite the journey.
That's crazy. All right. With one word or phrase, what comes to mind for the reason you got into the world of real estate investing?
Oh, I would say freedom of time freedom. It's probably the biggest thing for me.
Time freedom. What was that feeling you were having before that? Were you just feeling like you were just bogged down with all the time being sucked up by working? Is that what it felt like?
Yeah. So the Firehouse is, I love it, and it's been something that I've done for a long time. And we work 24-hour shifts, and we have 2 days off. And so, just as anybody else feels the crunch with inflation and other things, and your family's growing and all the different pressures that people have, I was working 24 hours, and then I would get off and I would either go to another job, which was usually another fire station, or riding a medic, so doing, staying in the same career field, but going somewhere else and then working for another 12 hours or another 24 hours, just to kind of pay the bills and continue to, just keep up with what we were doing. And so, it was, there was, the big turning point for me was I was a year where I worked 1,000 hours of overtime in a year. So when my wife kind of calculated it at the end, I had actually spent 6 months out of 12 at the Firehouse.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was crazy. I mean, I didn't realize it when I was doing it that it was that much, but we got to the end of the year and it was like, it was just, it was very taxing on the family. And I was like, there's gotta be something better or a more efficient way to do this. So that's why I started looking for something else to kind of supplement or, just add to it to try to get some time back. And I found real estate.
What was the thing that even sparked you to get into being a firefighter in the first place? What was that interest there?
I don't know. I got in when I was 8. I got in when I was really, really young. So I got out of high school. I started doing some college, wasn't really sure. And I don't know. My dad had been a policeman for 15 years, like prior to me I don't really even remember growing up as him being in that field because when he got out, I was so young. But, I was working one day at a job that I hated, and it was right down the street from this firehouse. So I always saw the trucks go by, and I thought, man, I wonder what it's like what does it take to become a fireman? Because I always liked working with my hands. I always liked doing, I always learn better by doing something versus just somebody teaching it to me. And so I just walked down to the firehouse one day down there and started talking to the guys and figured out what it took to be one. And that was it.
Wow. So are you still a firefighter now?
Yeah. As of right now, today I am. Yep.
Really? So do you have a bit of a time frame or a game plan that you have set to where you're going to exit that type of lifestyle?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, in honesty, it's probably going to come sooner than I thought. We've got a pretty big development project going on right now that we're kind of like in the early phases, but it's one of those things, like I told my wife, like at some point in time, there's going to be a crossroads where I have to decide, do we want to continue to grow and get bigger with real estate, or, do I want to stay being a fireman and then not do real estate or not get as big as we've thought we would. And so, I see that decision coming sooner than later, but yeah, it's definitely close.
What's your favorite part about being a real estate investor?
Man, I think that at least for what I do, because all I do is syndications, basically, we buy large multifamily, we do developments now, is really giving other people an opportunity to get into larger deals that maybe they wouldn't have ever got into themselves. I've got a lot of the people that we have as investors, we do 506B syndications, which is, in long and short of it is like friends and family, right? You have to have an extensive relationship with the person that's investing, and you have to know that they kind of understand and know what they're getting into. And so, it's really allowed me to help friends and family of mine or people that I meet or network with that I grow, I build a relationship with, kind of unlock that, like using real estate or these larger deals as an investment tool. Most of them didn't know that it was even an option. And a lot of people either don't understand real estate or know, or they think that the only way they can be involved in real estate is to be active, and be the person that owns the house, or, that's a lot of people get, they're like, oh, I believe in real estate, but I don't want to be, I don't want to have to get up at 2 a.m. to go fix a toilet, or be the, having to take these calls from tenants or show the house or do all these different things. And there's so many different levels of real estate investing that's just one. And it's like the being that single family owner, the active manager, landlord, that maybe your dad, uncle, grandfather was. And, there's a lot of people that we help get into real estate through passive investing.
Are you strictly doing syndication?
Yeah, I mean, that's about 90% of what we do, and 95%. Like I said, we're doing a development right now. That's going to be the largest development that we've done. I've never done ground up. One of my partners has done ground up a lot, but I've not been active in one. And I never really knew. I don't think I really ever got into it thinking I would do development. But again, the deal came to us, and it was a phenomenal opportunity, and so we didn't want to pass it up.
Are you only doing deals in Ohio?
So we've got about 600 units here in Ohio, which units just means like apartment doors. And then we've got equity holdings. There's 3 of us in the group that makes this up the stream group. And between the 3 of us, we have over 2,000 doors we have equity holdings in. So not everything are we, those 600 we own, operate, manage. We do all the construction in-house. So we're vertically integrated that way. But everything else, we just have some type of role in the general partnership side of that deal. So we may have signed on the debt. We might provide, assistance or help those less experienced GPs, like make the deal successful, or help with the business plan, or, do whatever. So there's different roles. And in for that, we get equity in the deals.
Now, unless you're a unicorn, which it doesn't look like you are, when was that time when things just didn't go right and you felt most unsuccessful in your real estate investing journey?
Well, I'd say so by myself, my very first deal, I didn't really, they always say you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know. The first deal I ever did was a 50-unit apartment building. That was the first one I ever purchased. And when I was trying to purchase that, I thought, oh, I got the deal under contract. I thought everything was going great. And then I went through like 5 different lenders before I found one that would actually lend on the deal. And they wouldn't lend on it because of my experience level. And that was something that, back then I didn't even know that there was anything like masterminds or partnerships or, doing something like that. And that was pretty defeating before I even really got into my first deal. So that was, I learned a lot from that experience. And now again, I've helped a lot of people get their deal across the finish line because we can come in and add that experience, add that credibility, the net worth liquidity aspect that can, a lot of people have struggled to get their first one or two deals done because of that. So that was probably one of the times I felt like that.
So did you like just freak out and was like, this is way too much for me to handle. I need to get somebody to give me some more input, some coaching, things like that. Was it just like you were lost, or were you still pretty much mentally together? You just needed some help?
Yeah. So I think for me is I don't ever feel like to get that feeling. Like, I mean, do I think that people can get a feeling of like, oh my gosh, like overwhelmed or lost? Like, I think yes, but it for me, it's always something that's like temporary. Like I'm always kind of like put my head down. How do I figure this out? There's got to be an answer. There's got to be a way around this. I just have to dig in and figure it out. And so in that situation, I called a guy that I had met through networking. He was a firefighter in Strongsville, Ohio. And then he had, at the time when I think I first met him, he probably was had 500 or 600 units. And now he's got close to 1,000. But he was, I called him and was like, what do I do? And so he kind of gave me some tips or things that, maybe try this. And I did those things and was able to get the deal funded. So,
awesome.
So yeah, like I said, it's just, it's networking is always a huge thing, and, kind of utilizing who you have that you can network with, and then, never giving up and not allowing that feeling of kind of being lost or overwhelmed to stop you from what you're trying to do.
What's the one positive goal you have in your business right now?
Right now we're just expanding. So I think for me is trying to, again, figure out how do we expand successfully, because it's like a balance, where you have to, you've got needs that you got to, and so you need to hire people, but you also have to be able to be profitable enough to pay salaries and have, people that rely on you. So I think one like positive goal is for us that we're working on is like, how do we continue to expand and grow, but not, sometimes the saying like, you got to slow down to speed up. And so that's kind of like where, that's the balance we're working on right now is how do you, because it's easy to grow quickly, right? There's plenty of people that I'm sure both of us have seen where they just go out and or at least it seems like they're buying a deal. And it's like, how are these guys, going from no units or 100 units to 2,000 units in a year or whatever? And I'm always like that, what I've realized over the time is that a lot of them are not operating the deals, right? They buy them and then they just give them to a third-party property management company and they move on to the next one. And that's great until the deal goes bad or starts to go bad. And like, they don't know, a lot of guys don't know how to fix it or catch it early or whatnot. And so we've capitalized on, other people's deals like that, where they've bought them, it got sideways, and then they had to sell it basically into stress in order to not lose investor money. And, we're right there to them to capitalize on that. So
what's your favorite technology you use in your business?
Oh man, I would say, I'm really starting to get into like the social media pushing. Like Tim and I, both being firemen, have always kind of like hid from the camera and really, we didn't feel like what we were doing was that awesome or that exciting. And so we've just last year, I really pushed myself to be on more podcasts and kind of get the word out there, because I realized that, what we're doing in our story is like actually pretty amazing, and it's helped a lot of people. And so that's, I think that's the technology is just the social media platforms, the different things that I'm being exposed to now, or, LinkedIn, TikTok, all these things that maybe I was not a part of before. I was, it can be used in a positive way for business. And that's, it can also be a time consuming thing that distracts you from being successful. But, that's probably the coolest thing that we're doing right now.
That's the best thing about it all, is that it helps so many people, because when you think about when you were a kid, that wasn't that long ago. A lot of this stuff didn't exist, and we didn't have access to information that really we feel is vital information today to help us financially and help our families and help the people after us when we're long gone. And I got to admit, you hit it right on the head, man. I'm so thankful for this technology because it is helping so many other people. So yeah, I applaud you on that one. Good one.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah. And even like, just the people that I get to meet network, they're like I said, people always, I don't know when I say it's overused, but they always say your network is your net worth. And I mean, there's just so many things that I could track in our business and our growth and deals we've done and whatnot, or private money lending, or just investors where, it's all come through networking. And, and a lot of the people that I've met, they're not people I meet that live locally to me. So my network has expanded throughout the country, and that's all been done because of social media and different platforms that are out there.
What's your current portfolio look like these days?
So we've got 600 units now, a little over 600 units that we own, manage, and do construction on. That's all locally here in Central Ohio. And then we've got about another 1,400 units or so that are like between the group we have the holdings in. They're various different markets in the country. And then the development project that we're working on right now will be 300 single family homes, 200 apartments, and 200 basically age targeted housing, 55 and older, kind of tier 1 assisted living. So we're in the process of doing that development right now, pretty early on, but the goal for that is to keep the multifamily and have some type of equity in the assisted living. And then we'll sell off the single family home development once we do all the entitlements and whatnot.
Yeah. That sounds great, man. You guys are out there making it happen. I love that. Yeah. So if people want to contact you and work with you, how do they do that?
So the best ways are, you can see me on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm on Instagram now. I think we just got onto TikTok not too long ago. So any of those platforms, they can go to our website, which is www.thestreamgroups.com. And then they can fill out like a questionnaire on there, and then it gets emailed to myself or Tim, and then one of us respond. And we that's kind of usually how we start a relationship. Somebody sees me on something like this and they're like, man, these guys sound like they're doing great. Let's just see what it's like. Right. Cause the big thing for us is that, we always like to work with people that we like. And, and same with investors, we're not always a great fit for every investor, and every investor is not a great fit for us. But, if we're accomplishing we're looking to accomplish the same thing, then, we always like to make those connections. And maybe it's not something that happens right now, but, we get, like I said, just expanding our network is always great. And when we have deals, we put them out there to the friends and family and the list that we have, and give people a great opportunity.
Yeah. It's all about relationships, man.
That's it.
Since entering into real estate investing, what do you feel you're most grateful for?
I'm just what real estate's done for my life. It's given me the ability to make some choices. That's really the thing, is that I think that a lot of people, they go to, they go to school, high school, college, whatever, they get a job. And then they're kind of like, sometimes, people kind of feel like they get stuck. And, that's something that I've never wanted. And I've never wanted to have, a group have total control over me. I just was talking with somebody yesterday who, they've worked, they had a state job, and it's not in Ohio, they're in another state, but they've had a state job for like 20 years. And like they said that what really caused them to be nervous was they saw other people that were close to being fully vested in their pension system get laid off, basically. And everything they had worked for all these years was gone in an instant. And, that's just like, there's just no security out there for anybody. Like, even when you think that you're secure in a long-term job like that, where you think you have a pension, and you're like, that used to be like in the 60s and 70s, that was like the thing, right? If you work for Ford, Chevy, so, like, I mean, look at Detroit and all the things that happened when the auto industry kind of shrunk dramatically. It happens in all kinds of different fields. And so for me, I did not want to have anybody to have like control over me. So like, real estate has given me choices. It's just greatly affected my family and my long-term legacy that I get to leave for my kids.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I felt that same impact around 2008. Everybody's got that same story. And I thought I was in a really good job. The money was good. And next thing you know, big layoff. And I was like, oh my God, this is not what I want to see. And so I agree with you. Before I hit you with the last question, I just want to tell you, thank you very much for being on the show today. You got a great story. You guys are doing some incredible things. So keep it up, and thanks again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. So finally, Seth, how do you define real estate investing success?
I think that the number one thing that people need to do when they are getting it, like, one is people always say, like, what's your why? Why are you wanting to get into real estate, or why are you wanting to use it as an investment tool to grow your wealth, or whatnot. And for me, it was my family. And so, when I've achieved the goals I set for myself and for us, that's success. I think everybody's version of it is different, and figuring out, kind of where you want to go and why is the first key to starting down that successful path. Because if you just if you don't have that, or you don't really know why you're doing it or where you're trying to go, it's hard to really measure if you are successful. So I think for me, that's what it is just knowing your why, which for me was my family and freedom of time. And I've gained that. So.
Successors, I hope you've enjoyed my quick conversation today, and I hope you've gained just a little more insight into achieving your financial freedom and reaching your goals. For more real estate investing content like this and a lot more, please visit UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com. That's UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay grateful, stay successful, and be free. Music by Stream Beats. Universe Media Mastering. Your audio more listenable.